Okay, Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba Hashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba Hashem, Rekah Kwadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and Shalom and salute to the hopefully elect from the least to the greatest. All right, so I was doing a little research earlier on the judicial system here in the United States of America, and I was researching the scriptures, the Holy Bible, on the law, statutes, and commandments. And what I found is I found out that, well, I've been knew it, that the American U.S., the laws here in America are corrupt. And it's the laws, the Constitution, the codes, the regulations, is all confusion. And it's set up to oppress our people, right? And I know some brothers have been through the court systems, and hey, that's not the jail systems, and I got caught up in the law, and hey man, that's hell. Jake get caught up in that shit, man. That's hell. But it's corrupt. This is Babylon we talking about. It's really corrupt. I myself, a part of my life I went through, had to deal with the court systems and how they operate and stuff like that. And there's so many holes and cracks in this judicial system. It ain't even funny. You know, a judge can rule something, and the police, they'll use that as a regulation or a code. And the system, I have them. They are legally allowed to abide by their judgment. Like for example, Pennsylvania versus Mims, or different court cases, they'll use that as the like a regulation, and that would override a particular law. And then so I did some research, right? And I did a series of AI researches, right? So as you can see on the screen, I put what's more powerful, the law or statute, right? So it says in hierarchy of the legal system, it says statutes are generally more powerful than other types of law. All right. So that's this here in America. It says, but it's less powerful than the Constitution, right? So we all know that the Constitution is the supreme law here in the United States, right? So I look. Okay, you got the Constitution, then you got the regular laws, then you got regulation, administrative regulations, you got common law, right? So I did some more digging. So I wanted to compare it with the Bible. So the question is, in the Bible, what's more powerful, the law, the statutes, or law? And here, this is what I got. It says in the Bible, neither is more powerful than the other because they are not competing systems. Rather, they are different parts of the same divine revelation. All instructions, whether called law, statutes, or commandments, carry the equal authority of the Most High. So in the scriptures, in the Bible, all the laws come together perfectly, right? There's no conflict with one another, or neither law. I found out amazing. I mean, of course, because the Heavenly Father is divine by the Heavenly Father and His Son, and that's beautiful. Now I did some more research, right? And I'm just doing this AI, and I did this prior, right? So this is just me doing it again to show the brotherhood. So I looked up What's more powerful? Just to show you that Babylon is twisted. What's more powerful in the USA, the law or the statute, right? So check this out. It says, in the United States, statutes are generally more powerful than common law, right? So we all know that in the scriptures, you had the laws, which the law always been around, right? Because the law means just the general law. Don't kill your brother, don't lay with your brother's wife, or don't kill, steal, or general things like that. Which a lot of Israelites or some Israelites always knew the law. There's always been a law. Then you had the statutes. That's where a statute is like a prescribed, a written down law, right? Something that's prescribed or written down that you had to follow, regulations that you had to follow. So I looked up what's more powerful in the USA, the law or the statute. And it says statutes are generally more powerful than the law. But it says, all right, so it says law is a broad umbrella term that includes the Constitution, statutes, and court ruling. All right, so this is the legal hierarchy of power. You got the U.S. Constitution, you got the Statutes Act of Congress, you got the administrative regulations, then you got the common law, case law. All right, so what I look at, what's more powerful in the Bible, the law, statutes, and commandments? It says in the Bible, law, statutes, and commandments are equally powerful because they all represent the direct will of God. None overrides another in authority. Instead, they function as a single unified system, often called the Torah, where each term serves a different purpose. If you break a statute, you have broken a commandment, and therefore you have broken the law. And it says how they work together. And it goes into how each law and everything, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it falls, the script, the Bible, law, statutes, and commandments come into each other perfect, right? So this is what I looked up. I say, in the United States, what's more powerful, the law or the statutes? Oh, we already read it. Okay, so it says, in the United States, statutes are more powerful than most other form of law, right? It says, but they are less powerful than a constitution. Now, here's the confusion, right? Because here it is. If you go by the Constitution, you got a lot of these auditors. They'll get pulled over by the police, which is road pirates. The police will lock you up based upon a statute, right? They'll go totally against the Constitution, and they'll lock you up based upon a code or a statute. Then here it is, you locked up. Then you got to play the game of court, which means game. So here it is, they lock you up. You got to pay bail. You got to pay the judge. They already won. They already in the lead in the game. So then you got to pay a bail, pay all this money for a lawyer, then play the game of court, which you still might lose because of a judge. We just read it. The judge can rule something that's he already, a judge can rule based upon his feelings. But he still got to follow the Constitution. But he got to follow the statute. The statute is not more powerful than the Constitution, but you still can lose in court, depending on your lawyer. You see the game. Now let's look up. Okay, all right. It says the summary of the winner, right? It says the statute is more powerful. This statute versus common law, right? The statute versus regulation. The statute is more powerful. The statute versus the Constitution. It says the Constitution is more powerful, right? Then the Constitution is more powerful than the statute, right? But they violate your rights all the time, which you really ain't got no rights when it comes to the judicial system. That's when they lock you up. You got to pay the bail. You got to pay all this money for a lawyer, and then you play the game of court, which you still can lose based upon your lawyer. Now, all right, I pit. All right, they already said what's more powerful. So I pit, is the Constitution common law? No, the Constitution is not common law. It is a separate and superior category of law known as the Constitution law. All right, so we know that the Constitution is not common law, but it's the higher law, right? So look what I looked up. I said, do the Constitution and common law and statutes conflict each other? Yes, they can conflict. See, that's the confusion. In the U.S. legal system, conflicts are resolved through a strict hierarchy of authority where the hierarchy ranking rule always win. So all the law, statutes, and Constitution conflict with one another. And we all know that, being a Jake here in America, you don't always win. It's up to the judge, whatever they rule, that's what stands. And we know by just looking at the system, or how many Jakes are locked up and how unfair this legal system is towards Jake, right? So we all know that they don't really, because the police, they violate your rights all the time, whatever rights you think you have. But I just wanted to show the difference between the laws here in America and the laws in the Bible. You can't compare it, because it's a divine presence behind the Bible. Here it is. You got I think it's about 620 laws in the Bible, and none of them conflict with one another. But here in the United States, it's 1 million laws. You can get a law book, and it's a big ass book, and all the laws conflict with one another, and that's the confusion here in Babylon. And that's my point, and I found that quite interesting, that none of the laws. Let's do it again. Hold on. All right, so evidently it won't let me use this browser or this microphone while I'm recording. So I'm gonna use my other phone, right? And you can look this up as well. So I looked it up. It says how many laws are here in the United States of America. And it says, in the United States, there is no official single count of all the laws. The legal system is so vast and complex that even the Library of Congress states the total number of federal laws is not officially counted. You see? So they can change the laws anytime. Now, check this out. It says the federal level, the United States Code, USC. This is the official compilation of general and permanent federal status. Listen to this, y'all. It says it is currently, okay, it says organized into 54 title based on a subject matter. It says enacted statutes. Okay, listen to that. It says since 1789, Congress has enacted over 30,000 statutes in a typical 2-year term. Congress passed between 200 and 600 new bills that became the law. Listen to this. It says criminal laws. A famous 1982 Justice Department study attempted to count only federal criminal offenses after 2 years. They could only provide an estimate of about 3,000. Some experts now estimate that there may be as many as 300,000 federal regulations that carry criminal penalties. Wow. You see the confusion here? It says federal agencies issued thousands of rules each year. In 2020 alone, agencies issued 3,353 rules compared to only 178 laws passed by Congress the same year. You see that? So how is, with that many laws, how are we free? Now check this out, right? Check this out. What I'm going to do, right? It says in total, researchers estimate the number of distinct laws across all U.S. Jurisdictions likely reaches into several 100,000. Wow. Let me read it again. In total, researchers estimate the number of distinct laws across all U.S. jurisdiction likely reaches into the 700,000. 700,000, and it could be more than that. Damn near a million laws. Now I'm gonna do this. How many laws, statutes, and commandments are in the Bible? Yeah, I was close. I said 620. It says in the Bible, the most widely recognized count is 613 commandments found in the Torah. It says the first 5 books of the Old Testament, while people often focus on the 10 commandments, there are generally viewed as the primary heading or categories that the other 603 laws fall under. So it says 613 commandments. It says 248 positive commandments, instructions on what you should do, honor your father and mother. It says 365 negative commandments, prohibits on what you should not do. Shall you not murder? Okay, so it's 613 laws in the Bible, right? Law, statutes, and commandments in the Bible, and the U.S. the estimated count of how many laws here in the United States is several 100,000. It's only 613 laws in the Bible, and they said it's over 700,000 laws in the United States of America. Ain't that something? And we just did the research. It's none of the law, statutes, and commandments override each other. None of them conflict with one another. But in the United States, all the laws, statutes, and the Constitution conflict with one another and they override each other, being that the Constitution is number one, but they violate the Constitution all the time. Especially if you a Jake here in America, how many times they violated your rights, or how many times? See, if you ain't got a good lawyer, if you ain't got a good small head lawyer, you likely to lose the game of court in America, and you got to do jail time. So I just wanted to show you the difference. It's no comparison. The Bible is a divine instruction book coming from Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. But the laws here in America, man-made laws, that they change every day. These laws, codes, regulations, they liable to change any day. So, and we know they're going to change because it's going to be a law soon that you're going to have to get that charagma. And that's going to be the law. Hey, it was a law once that being so-called black, that was against the law. It was a law that that had us in slavery. That was the law. We had laws against us that we couldn't even do just 50, 60, 70 years ago. They say that they freed the slaves in 1865, but slavery was still going all the way up until 1960. And then you got the underground slave market. Then you got the Epstein files and all that they doing behind the scenes. So what are we really doing here? What are we really doing? But I hope this was edifying. I wanted to show you the divine, how powerful the Lord is when it comes to the scriptures. And this place here in America, it's wicked, man. And there's no match for the scriptures. There's no match. The Heavenly Father is the one that is behind the on the right hand side as well as the left hand side, but He is the divine presence of those scriptures. That's why we so powerful when we go out on the highways and byways. All right, but I hope this is edifying. Till again, shalom.